All right, to discuss this and the rest of the day's top stories, let's bring in now the Director of Headline Advisory, former Press Secretary to Scott Morrison, Andrew Carswell. Great to see you. And Labor power broker, Graham Richardson. Thank you both so much for your time. Look, Andrew, I want to get your reaction to what I've just spoken about. And, you know, when you take a step back and look at the bigger picture of the Australia that we're seeing, it's a massive change from just a year ago.
Well, even beyond that, I think before the last election, Sharri, the Prime Minister promised safe change. And in the last 2 years, we've seen nothing but division, disunity, disruption, and now we're seeing a flight towards classism and tribalism that is polarising Australians. This is the Australia that Anthony Albanese is building, a battleground. It is Indigenous versus non-Indigenous. It is employers versus employees. It is rich versus poor. It is the cities versus the country. It is unions versus big business. It is Muslims against Jews. It is a battleground wherever you turn, and it is on purpose. And we're seeing from the Prime Minister a return to type. This is not a new Prime Minister turning over a new leaf and going down a different path. This is a return to the old Anthony Albanese. This is who he is. He's a fighter, he's a brawler, he's a scrapper. He believes passionately about the things that he believes in and doesn't understand the beliefs and value system of those on the other side of the fence. And that is what we're starting to see here in Australia. The discourse is going downhill at a great rate, and the Prime Minister himself is to blame. And it's not like he's poking people in the eye purposely. He's not insulting people with his words. It's his silence on so many issues that Australians care deeply about, their value systems align with, and he just does not understand it. Therefore, he remains silent on it and loud on the issues that he cares about. When the slings and arrows go over the fence, he's silent, but when they come back this way, he is loud, and there's not a way to govern.
That is so well said, Andrew Carswell. Graham Richardson, I know you're a good friend of Anthony Albanese, but surely when you look at the black masked men who infiltrated parks on Australia Day, when you look at the aggressive protests, when you look at the burning of the Australian flag on the steps of the Opera House, surely this isn't the Australia that you recognise, that you love.
No, it isn't, but that isn't necessarily the fault of Anthony Albanese. I mean, you're always going to have people in your society who are on the fringe of it and who basically don't like that society. You know, we have a lot of those, unfortunately, and it's just something you've got to endure and put up with in a democracy. You can't do anything else about it. But it doesn't mean Albo's part of it. And I reject what's just been said entirely.
Yeah, well, look, we understand that you do, and you are a good friend of the Prime Minister's, but as Andrew Carswell just said, it's his silence. It's not standing up there and saying anti-Semitism is not on, this conduct is not on. It's being strong, it's showing leadership. And it's also local governments, state governments, actually arresting people and pressing charges, or if it is the federal government, introducing new laws so the hate preachers can't go on inciting violence like they've done.